Hello everyone, my name is Richard Lewis Brown. Tonight is September 14th, 2022. Hopefully you've had a good day today. It hasn't been so hot here in California. Thank God. Alright, so tonight I put up on Facebook, quote, answers to the $3 million test. So I start early on Facebook. It's 5:41 p.m. And then I'll start the Zoom at 6:30 p.m. tonight. I always put the link on my Facebook page. Hi. I always put the link on my Facebook page a day too early. So you can always come on Zoom or you can come on Facebook. You can interact with me on either place. And tonight we're going to try to inspire people. As everyone knows, I was elected president in May of 2021. And so people say, well, why do you always have to remind us of that? I have to remind everyone that I was elected president because it was historic. It was a 5-person race. The incumbent lost. And many people in our union felt that the incumbent, the former president, Yvonne Walker, could never lose. But she lost. She lost that election because I never gave up. I never gave up. And to those 2,637 people, excuse me, I'm not giving up on you or the rest of our represented employees for Local 1000. When they announced that I had won the election, it caused this great chaos with the status quo in our union. You say, well, who's the status quo in our union? Well, the status quo are certain people, some on the Local 1000 Board of Directors, whether they're DLC president or bunk chair, and there's certain activists who are part of the status quo in our union. Why is that important? It's important to know that so you'll understand why they're trying to remove me from office so they can maintain the status quo. That's what their goal is, to maintain the status quo. You say, well, Richard, give us an example. I will. So, as you know, I had suspended the duties of the 3 vice presidents on February 25th, 2022. And then they responded with their own retaliatory suspension on February 27th. You can go to my website, you can see all the documents, createexcellence7437.com. And so, what happened after that? A lot of things have happened. But I was referring to the status quo being kept in place. So when the former president, Yvonne Walker, lost the election, she decided to retire. She earned it. We all want to retire for the state of California. And if you remember, I did a video or two back a couple weeks ago where I said that I would not disparage her or say negative things about her in her retirement. And I meant that. So she's running for the retiree seat, the CalPERS retiree seat. Now you know I ran on a 10-point platform. Let me read to you my first platform point. Number 1, create new financial spending, no politics or non-germane activities. Well, are you waiting patiently for me to tell you this? Local 1000 has given her money. Yes, I said it. If you want to hear the truth, you got to tune in to me on Wednesday night or whenever I do my live videos. Local 1000 has given Yvonne Walker money for her campaign for the CalPERS retiree seat. Well, how much money is it? Was it 100,000? Was it 200,000? They gave her a lot of money. You should call 866-471-7348 and ask for the financial statement on how much money was given to the former president who's now a retiree running for the retiree seat for the CalPERS board. You should ask because you elected me as the president to ensure that we stop political spending. That's what you elected me to do. They could not have that. How much money have they given this current governor, Gavin Newsom, since February 27th, 2022? You should ask that question. You should email Local 1000 and start asking these political questions. How much money have you spent since February 27th, 2022? They will not tell you. And if they do tell you, they won't tell you the truth. So when they, quote, are trying to remove me from office because I said no political spending, here's a perfect example. The former president, who's now a state retiree, has been given money by Local 1000 to help her win her retirement seat on the CalPERS board. Now, some people say, hey, that's a good thing. Other people say that's not a good thing. Question is, you elected me to stop political spending, which made me so different than all the other candidates. But yet, Local 1000 didn't want to hear you. They did not respect the voice of membership. These are the same people who tell you they support President Biden and that we should respect the election results. But yet they, in turn, cannot respect the election results for Local 1000. And this is why I've called some of these Local 1000 leaders hypocrites. And this is why they won't come on my videos. And this is why a lot of people on Facebook don't want to talk to me. Because I will catch you in your lies and let the grace of God through Jesus Christ reward those who understand my spirit. But that's a clear example of the status quo. Now, will they give her more money before, I think the cutoff is September 26th, I believe? I'm not sure. But they've given her money. You didn't know about that, did you? I know you didn't know, because they're not going to tell you. Now, there's the upcoming board meeting, September 23rd to the 25th. A board meeting I didn't call for. Here's another reason why. Here's another reason why the status quo is trying to remove me from office. Integrity. I told you I'd be transparent. I told you I would show you those board meetings. And that we wouldn't, quote, have those executive sessions very often. You know, an executive session for a strategy issue, I can understand that. But some of the stuff that they're going into executive session for is stuff that you want to know about. That's where the real business gets done. Not out in the open, but an executive session where no one's watching. And this is why when they have votes, they don't do roll call votes. Remember, when I do board meetings, I want a roll call vote so we can put up at the end of that board meeting who voted for what. So they are accountable for how they vote. Because supposedly they're voting what their particular DLC or bunk chair area wants them to vote on. And they're representing their interests. But that is not the case. And this is why they won't do roll call votes. This is why they won't do roll call votes at those board of directors meetings. Because they don't want to be held accountable, because they've never been held accountable in the past. This is, again, the status quo trying to hold on to the past. But we'll put our faith in God and Jesus Christ. If that is how you believe, that is how I believe. If you believe in another way for the afterlife, then I want you to stand by that and stick with it. And I won't try to convert you to how I believe. But I'm telling you the gospel truth, the righteous truth that was true yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Answers to the test. Why did I say 3 million? We'll get to, hold on 1 second. I see you about the Disneyland for your retirement. I see you. I keep talking about the status quo because this is how Local 1000 has operated throughout the years. So when we go to the Disneyland trip, remember that, oh gosh, was it $4,500 some $500 some dollar? I think it was $4,528. A gift from the former president to Margarita Maldonado because she had lost the election in 2018. So she became the chief of staff for almost $160,000 a year. and then she got a gift from the president. Let me be clear to you. When she did this, the former president did not have an HR 1 put out on her for financial malfeasance. So all these lies that you hear this current VP of Organizing Representation, Annika Walls, all these lies, these 10 meritless allegations she's put out on me, but yet the former president was giving away money left and right to whoever she wanted to. Because she was part of the status quo. She told you that the politicians were your bosses. But the politicians are not your bosses. This is a partnership. But none of these, and when I say none, and I do mean this, not one DLC president or bunk chair has ever told you on video for it to be part of an official record that the state of California is not our boss. They'll never say it. None of them. I'm the only one who tells you this and tells you this out in the open on video repeatedly. This is the status quo at work. Answers to the test tonight. And so when the status quo is traveling to work sites, because that's what I was doing, they're just following me, but yet they're trying to encourage you to become a member or not cancel your membership. But yet, they won't respect the voice of the membership on how they voted for the president. But yet, they're trying to encourage you to stay part of the union or to become part of the union, that your vote matters, that you have to pay money to vote in this union. And it's wrong. You should not have to pay to vote in any election in America. Let me say it for you again. You should not have to pay any money to vote in any election in America. Not in the union or in this country. But this is the status quo. And where did this status quo come from? SEIU International in Washington, D.C. That's where that garbage came from. Back in 1984, in February. And they didn't bring no Valentine's love either. Corruption at its finest. So I ask you, are you tired of the madness? Are you tired of being a slave to SEIU International in Washington, D.C.? Are you tired of being their slave? What does SEIU really stand for? I'm going to tell you what it stands for. It says they stand for Service Employees International Union. It really stands for slaves. Slaves entertaining in unity. That's what SEIU stands for. Slaves entertaining in unity. Let me say it for you again. What does SEIU stand for? Slaves entertaining in unity. You've been a slave to this system for so long that they condition you to say that the state of California is our boss. That if the state can't give us a pay increase, that's just how it is. If the state wants to take money from us while under a signed contract, that's how it is. They're our boss. You're a slave, and you didn't know that. You're a slave. You say, well, how does racism and politics fall into this in our union? That's how it was created, our union, under politics. But it wasn't created to help you. It was created to what? Control you as a slave. Remember, the perception of state employees is you're lazy, you're unmotivated, you're uneducated, and all you do is cry. And that you should, you're lucky to even have a job. And that all the people in California who work for the state are the low-end workers. If you were really that special, you'd be in the private sector working, making a lot of money. That's how they feel about you, and that's how they treat you. They treat you as a slave. That's what they do. You say, well, how is this racial? The status quo is trying to maintain what they've done all along. It doesn't matter that they had a former president who was African American. She did what she was told to do. She never rocked the boat. She never, after having a strike vote that came back yes, went on strike and shut down the fourth largest economy on earth. Or in today's paper by SACB, they say the fifth. Fourth or fifth, who's to say? She never stood up and said, enough is enough. She has never done it. She never did. Now I show up on the scene. Now there's a problem because they can't control me. And so they put up all these racist memes on Facebook. I have copies of them. Just text me, 408-207-2339, and I'll send you those memes. Because they hate that I am outspoken, that I'm truthful, that I have integrity, that I'm fighting for you. Oh, and by the way, he's black. So my life does not have any value as a black man in this country. Now, I know some of you white people will say, well, Richard, don't talk like that. Let me tell you something. I'm going to talk like this because it's the gospel, righteous truth. You don't like it? Then don't vote for me in the next election. I told you from the very beginning, we shouldn't be involved in Black Lives Matter. And a lot of white people said, thank you, Richard, because I'm afraid to say that. They'll say that I'm being racist. So let me get to this point right now about racism. How they have treated me is racist. This is the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party, the party that I belong to. You say, well, then run over and become a Republican. I don't have to run anywhere. By you telling me that I should run and become a Republican or that I'm really a Republican, that's like telling me to go back to Africa because I don't like how America is. I'm checking you tonight. Answers to the test, $3 million worth. I told you there are people on the board who want to continue the status quo. Now, there are some people on the board who are independent thinkers, who are not going to vote to kick me out of this union, who are going to respect the voters. There are some like that. Some. But this is the racism within this union, and this is the politics within this union. Anybody can call me at 408-207-2339. Anybody who wants to really help me stop this madness, 408-207-2339. I've asked you to cash it at me, but I know some people live paycheck to paycheck and you can't afford it. And you can't understand why Local 1000 won't fully indemnify me, because Local 1000 is being racist towards me. That's the answer why. But you don't want to hear that, but you're going to hear that in the great state of California, the #1 state in the nation. They don't like the fact that you have a black man that's fighting for everyone, whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your religious identity. It doesn't matter what God you worship or what God you don't worship. It doesn't matter about your sexual orientation. I'm fighting for a 21% pay increase for everyone in this union, along with GEO COLA. Someone sent me a text this morning. Richard, Social Security, the COLA next year for 2023 may go up by almost 9%. Thank you for the text. But I'm fighting for you. That's what I was elected to do. I have never betrayed you. I have never lied to you. Good days, bad days, it does not matter. I've been on video. Now you have people trying to lead this union and you don't know what they're doing. They go to these work sites, you don't know what they're saying to these people at these work sites. But I can guarantee you this, they're lying. I can guarantee you that. Now, if anybody wants to come on tonight and do a video with me, put it in the comments on Facebook Live before 6:30 and I'll bring you on live. If you want to come on live after 6:30 when I start the Zoom, you can do that as well. When I see people say bring them on video, I know they don't mean that. But they put in the comments, they type it out saying, yes, Richard, I'm serious. I want to go on live and have a conversation in front of everyone with you. Feel free. I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. Now, you'll notice a lot of people watch these videos. So I may see only 6 people watching right now. Trust me, people are watching. What people can't figure out is why they're trying to run me out of office. I told you it's racial. I told you it's politics. I have too much integrity. They told you that Richard should go to those board meetings. No. Those board meetings are illegal since February 27th. All those board meetings have been illegal. They say, no, they haven't. And we're going to go anyway, Richard. Then you go right ahead to them. Just because you don't have the integrity, just because you feel like you have to go, then you should do that. If you feel like you're representing your people in your DLC or your bunk area, then you do that. I know what I've said. I have stayed true to my integrity, period. Some people don't like that. That's fine. I'm not going to be liked by everybody. But everybody didn't vote for me either. I'm staying true to those people who voted for me, who trusted me, who said, I trust Richard. I trust Richard. I'm still here, everyone. Richard has not left you. I have not quit on you. I haven't canceled my membership. So status quo could smile and laugh. Now, hold on. I see something here. Wait a minute. Okay, so let me clarify that. 90% next year, 2023, those are for people who are already on Social Security. For those who are already on Social Security. Why are they getting a 9% COLA increase for the Social Security? Because they're losing their purchasing power of their money. And so if you don't give someone COLA, when they raise the price of goods and services, the money you're getting won't be able to keep up with it. And this is why people have said these little pay increases we have gotten don't mean anything when the price of goods and services are going up, along with healthcare costs are going up. Now, some people said, well, we should get Yvonne Walker on the retiree board because she can help us. Some people said, how did she help us when she was our president? So you have two opposing arguments. But I said I would not say anything bad about her in her retirement years. If she wins the election, that's great for her. But for Local 1000 to give her money, when I campaigned to be your new president and to stop political spending, Now someone said, well, Richard, that's part of the pension. So you said in your video that when it comes to pensions, that's something we should be involved in. You're right. I did say that before you can get on here and tell me that. Question is the track record. Does our former president have a track record to where we should give her money to run for a retiree seat? I would say no. Some people would say yes. And in this great country, you are allowed to have an opinion currently on voting. All right? So, let me get to a point here. Why do we have so many leaders in Local 1000 but not enough workers to do the work? Ego. People have egos. This is why our union is in this great disarray. Too many egos in the room. If you wanted to run for president, run for president. It took me my third shot, but I did not give up. And then that running the third time with the powers of the policy file and bylaws, I knew I had what it took to get things done for you. But they also knew that, and that's why they were trying to rush and change the bylaws and policy file. But all that stuff that they're doing, when we go to court, they're going to lose this. They're going to lose this. See, what they're trying to do is create this atmosphere that Richard was this detriment to Local 1000. I have never been a detriment to Local 1000. But this is what they're trying to do. And then everyone who believes in my 10-point platform or even believes in me, they're trying to get you to quit the union. And they have been successful in doing that. Everyone who has quit the union because what they're doing to me, you have fallen into their trap. This is America. You don't quit in this country. I have said this over and over and over again. You quitting the union is no different than someone growing up in the ghetto and saying, well, I'm going to do drugs and alcohol. I don't see no way out. Now, we all know that your environment has a lot to do with your success. So when people say, well, hey, just because you grew up in an environment where there's drugs and alcohol and crime doesn't mean you have to do that. I want those people to remember that argument. Because just because this union is trying to remove me from office doesn't mean you quit on the union because of the environment they're trying to create. I've been waiting to say that for a long time. I've asked people, don't quit. I didn't quit on you. When they were giving me holy hell for the COVID, and I was fighting for those who didn't want to get vaccinated, they were trying to break me then, and I would not break. So why would people now want to quit the union because they've given up because of how they're treating me? We don't give up in this country. We keep fighting and fighting till the very end. Why is that so hard for you to understand? Why is it so hard? Because they're conditioning you to give up on yourself. Now I see a comment here. You're right. Your dues should be used for contract negotiations and job representation. That's what a union does. That's it. And when they tell you, well, the politicians are the people we deal with, the politicians can deal with you in a more sincere way when they know you have enough money in the strike fund to shut them down. A union's real power, its only power, is not a politician that may turn on you at any given time, but it's your ability to go on strike. That's a union's power. It always has been, it always will be. How do we know this? Ask Major League Baseball. They don't care they're the #1 pastime in America. If things are not being done right, that union would say no baseball this season. Because they have their integrity, they have their dignity. Baseball. But in football and basketball, they're afraid to go on strike. And that's racial too. But I won't go there this evening. Let's talk about the railroad across America right now. They're going on strike on Friday. Four of the 12 unions that represent railroad workers, they're in disagreement, and 2 are still fighting this disagreement right now. And 2 of that 4 are the largest of the railroad unions. And one of those, the engineers and the conductors, they're saying that, you've been disrespecting us for too many years. And so they're going to go on strike on Friday. I wish them nothing but success. Listen to what I said. I wish them nothing but success because I'm not a hypocrite. If that's what they feel they must do, strike. Get your money, get your dignity. And the only way a union can get money and dignity substantially is by going on strike, unless management says, okay, let's work together, let's figure this out. Local 1000 is not talking about that. See, it's all politics with Local 1000 because of SEIU. Remember I said slaves entertaining in unity? I meant that. I'm not backing up from that comment. They want you to be as a slave and do everything they tell you to do. They don't want you to stand up and be strong and think for yourself. Because when you start to think for yourself, you realize that all this money that we pay international, where's our rate of return? Hold on one second here. I see that. We don't have a rate of return with SEIU International in DC. And that's why they sent their lawyers down to try to run me out of office. I know what they're doing. When have you heard Local 1000 tell you we're not going to let the state of California control our dignity clause? 5.11. You have it and you never will. And if they try to talk around that, they'll still be selling you out somehow, some way. We should be able to grieve everything and take it up to arbitration. You pay your money to this union. Why is it your case is not being grieved up to arbitration? Because they don't want to fight for you. But they want your money, and they want you to pay extra money to COLA for politics. Don't do that. Don't do that. I never contributed to COLA because it's a racket. Politics is not unifying our union. It's not. This country is half Democrat, half Republican, and a few people, independents, Green Party, Libertarian, kind of stuck in the middle. Where's my good luck chain tonight? I don't have it on tonight. And I should have put it on to show you that my word is worth its weight in gold. But I put a tie on tonight because I'm serious tonight. I'm always serious when I do these videos. But I'm telling you the answers to the test, the $3 million test. Remember that $1 million I gave last year on June 2nd? We gave $1 million to SEIU State Council, and then they turned around to help the current governor fight his recall because they knew I was coming in and they would never get that money approved by me. Remember that? Now there's $2 more million since February 27th. How do I know this? Ask them for the financial statements. Ask them for how they have spent money. I've been asking for this, but they ignore me, and I'm on the board of directors. That's racist. But many of you don't want to hear me say, as a black man, that it's racist in the state of California. Get over yourself, because I'm going to keep saying it. I am not backing up. See, let me say this. Let me go for the side tangent for a moment. See, a lot of people say they believe in Black Lives Matter, too, but they're lying through their teeth. And you even have black people in this union that say don't talk about race because they sold out too. Oh, you thought I would just call out white people. Oh, no. No, I call out my own just as fast, just as furious because I'm true. There's a lot of black people in America that say, oh, they're proud to be black, but put a few dollars in front of them and they'll fold like a cheap Walmart tent. Oh, yes, they will. They'll fold, they'll sell out. And you thought it was just the rappers who thought that way. Oh, no. Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. And he said, well, we don't want to talk about the race, just talk about the money. They're mixed in together. I can't get you the money because of my race. Well, you didn't know that you voted for me. You said, I'm in the state of California. We're not prejudiced. We're not racist. Really? Ask Rodney King. He would tell you something different. Ask Mr. Grant in the Bay. He would say something different. Ask Mr. Clark here in Sacramento. He would say something different. Ask the Black Panthers here in the state of California back in the day. They would tell you something different. This is still America. And you still have racism in this great state. So when people tell me don't talk about the race, forget you. Don't call me, don't text me. If that means that, hey, our friendship could be in jeopardy because I'm standing up as a black man, then let our friendship go out the window. See you when I see you. Don't call me anymore. I mean that. I don't need you that. I don't need you like that. I love who I am. I love my black identity. So when I talk about the race and how this union is being racist, and you don't like that, don't call me anymore. I mean that. Lose my number. That means I lose a vote on the board, so be it. See, you have two types of black people, the sellouts and the real ones. You got a real one. And I'm college educated, and I serve the country. You're welcome. I meant what I said. You don't like the fact that I'm bringing up race and politics? You can lose my phone number. I'm not in this for you. I'm in this for the greater good of helping state employees in Local 1000 obtain a substantial pay increase along with GEO pay and COLA, along with dignity in the workplace. That means absence of bad behaving, self-serving supervisors. That is what that means. And I'm sorry that you ain't never had a black person like me show up on the scene before. Well, guess what? You got a real one tonight. You've had a real one for all of these years. And that's why I say affectionately, Mama's black boy. And if that offends you, then let it offend you. Maybe tonight, I'm just going to offend people tonight with these answers. And this is why many of you won't go to college, because you didn't have the ability to get through college, because you didn't have the answers. You didn't have that fight in you. But for those who love who they are, whether you're black, white, Latino, Latina, Asian, those from Europe and Africa and Far East Asia, stay true to who you are. Because I'm going to stay true to who I am. They've been trying to break me from day one. You can't break a real one. And unfortunately, you've never had a real leader in Local 1000. And this is why they're trying to run me out of office. I hear they're doing a vote of no confidence on the 3 VPs and on DLC 744 President Billy Hall. I don't know if that's true or not. I hear a lot of things. Why did I bring that up? Because if you get a vote of no confidence on me and these other Local 1000 leaders and let everybody vote, not just dues paying members, but let the entire union vote, I would win that every single time. Every time. Yeah, I'm talking tonight. I'm talking tonight. And all you black folks who are coming out here that I see, you got a real one. Because some of you so-called black folks telling me to not talk about racism, you can miss me for all that. Answers to the test, the $3 million test. Now we're going to start the Zoom here at 6:30. I'm going to let people come on Zoom. I'm sure they have a lot to say. Anyone who wants to come on Facebook, put in the comments, hey, I want to talk to you live in front of everyone. Please do. You can get some of this action tonight too. I want you to. I would love any of these Local 1000 presidents, DLC presidents, vice presidents, bump chairs. I would love for them to come on and for us to engage in front of everyone and let all the truth come out. Let it all come out. I'm dying for that day. I want it all to come out. And then you're going to find out that Richard wasn't so crazy. That Richard was going above and beyond to work with the staff and to work with different people who he knew wanted him out. But I still put my faith in God and Jesus Christ, and I said, I'm still going to be positive and try to work with people. But they never had any intentions on ever working with me. But yet they tell you these lies over and over. They're duplicitous, Delilah-type lies. And one person, she's really good at it. She's really good, but she ain't good enough. A lot of people are lying in this union, but it's going to come out on them. I got the receipts. Oh, yes, I do. They know I got the receipts. Anytime someone wants to debate me, come on. I'm waiting for you. Because the truth has no debate. The truth is the truth. The righteous truth. Not situational truth, but the righteous truth. I've been saying this since 2012. There's no one quite like me in this union. And they'll run around and they'll say all these different things about me, trying to convince you that I'm a detriment to the union. That's an absolute lie. Even their own spouses know that that's a lie. Spouses and children know that I'm that deal. Because it's the spirit that I speak with. You cannot learn this. You're born with this. This spirit. And when I speak, I'm speaking to your spirit. And this is what they can't copy. They can't imitate this. You can't imitate the real one. When you were created for a special purpose in life, you know it. And so people will say, oh, he's hard-headed. He's opinionated. He doesn't listen to nobody. That's an absolute lie. That is an absolute lie. Because if I had been listening to people, I wouldn't have ran a third time. Or a second time, or even a first time, if I had known my place and listened to people. Hold on. Is it possible no verdict ever happens? Okay, hold on. Is it possible no verdict ever happens in the courts which causes you to indefinitely retain? Oh, I lost his text. Retain your standing. No, there will be a verdict in the court. There will be a verdict in the court for the lawsuit that is against me. The HR one that is against me, there's going to be a verdict on that too. What we're going to find out, how many people on that Local 1000 Board of Directors can think for themselves and know that I haven't done anything wrong. A lot of people on that board I helped, but I could never talk about it because I never wanted them to be associated with me so that they could save face. They know who they are. Wait till all this comes out. The last thing that Local 1000 wants to do is to put me out of the union. They don't want this. I'm telling you. Because I will tell it all. And there's a lot to talk about. And when you find out about all the things that's being done and all the things that are being said, ain't gonna be no Local 1000. You say, well, how can you and the board come together, Richard? Easy. Money. Let's get you paid the money. This ain't about Richard Lewis Brown. It's about money. But nobody represents money for you more than me. So they say, well, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the members. No, it's about money. Members want money. Money, 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 money. And no one talks about that money like I do. You can't trust these people right now with your money. I told you, yeah, I'm getting my shirt starched up off the credit card. Okay? $50, $75. Oh, you had a heart attack. Oh my God. Really? How are they spending money on that credit card right now? The 3 VPs and DLC 744 President Billy Hall. Have they shown you credit card receipts since the time I put them up? Have they shown you any credit card receipts for you to look at on the website since I put them up? No, and they never will. Because they're spending money left and right doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you know about the Norway trip? That's the one you know about. What about all the other trips? And all these nice restaurants that they're whining and dining and colluding. And we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And the different factions on the board trying to work with each other to see who has the votes. I'm just getting started. You know, when I went down to 1 day, 2 days a week talking, woo, I know they were like, oh, thank God, he's not talking. I got a lot to say. Bottom line is, even if you're successful in trying to remove me as president, people will always refer to me as President Brown or former president. President Brown to June 30th, 2024. I don't care what they try to do. You know that and I know that. They're going to try to get it to where you can't refer to him as the president, you know, blah, 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 blah. They're going to try to do all kinds of crazy stuff. This is the hypocrisy of these people, and 99% of these people are Democrats. This is the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. There is hypocrisy in both major parties. There's hypocrisy in politicians, regardless of what political party they belong to. Because you got to have a special gift to not be a hypocrite once you're elected into power. I'm not perfect, and neither are you. But there is a level of professionalism about handling money and fighting for you that you expect from your president. And you know I was that president, and I'm still that president, regardless of their retaliatory suspension of me. There's other people in other unions in the state of California who watch me. And I would tell those people, listen to your inner voice. And when the people doubt you and they try to question you, even your advisors, stay true to your calling. Stay true to your calling. And when they try to say that you're being a dictator and this and that, if you know that you are on a divine mission to help people, and you are truly sincere, and you're not going to stab nobody in the back, continue on. Don't let anyone second guess you. Now I hear, it's 6:26, I'll start the Zoom here in a few minutes. I get calls every day about the VP of Organizing Representation, Annika Walls. I don't have anything personal against Annika. I don't. She'll tell you she doesn't have anything personally against me. She's lying. She's absolutely lying. Nothing she says is without being duplicitous. Nothing she says is not without being duplicitous. Just watch her. She'll never answer your questions straightforward on her Tuesday night calls. In fact, how did her Tuesday night calls come into play? Her Local 1000 speak on it. How did that happen? Does anybody know how she got her Tuesday night call? Does anybody know? Because when you know, I want you to come on Zoom or put it here in the notes here on Facebook when you find out how she got her call. But she's never going to tell you the truth because that's not how she came to this union. She didn't come to this union being truthful. Look who she associates herself with. The Members for Transparency and Change, MTC. They're not truthful. Birds of a feather flock together. They're not truthful. They told you they wouldn't take the salary stipend. That was a lie. They got caught. Oh, so I see someone, a member here in New York, same issue, you don't kiss the establishment. Where's the chicken and the coward at? Why would someone say, where's that chicken and coward at? Because that's what I was called by DLC 767 president at that time, Richard Wake. He called me a chicken and a coward, a bald-faced liar. I have the text. Is he any different than Annika? No. There's no truth in him. Annika knows that he has said these words about me. She never gave him an HR1 because she uses him. Annika uses a lot of people to do her dirty work. She does. And she does it quite successfully too. Okay, it's 6:29. Tonight it's about answers to the test. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to start this Zoom here at 6:30. We'll start back on Facebook all over again at 6:30. I said some pretty tough things, and I stand behind them. So, is it 6:30 yet? Give us one more minute here, and I'll try to repeat what I just said really quickly, and then anybody on Zoom can ask me questions, or anybody on Facebook can ask me questions. But tonight's about answers to the $3 million test. And we're going to have a good night tonight. But I'm not, playing these games with people tonight. So, all right, 6:30. Good evening, everyone. I'm Richard Lewis Brown. Tonight is September 14th, 2022. Tonight, answers to the $3 million test. I've been talking since 5:41 this evening on Facebook Live. I've said quite a bit about the status quo, about racism and politics. I've called out people, talked about Annika Walls and her lying nature, because that's who she is, unfortunately, and her meritless 10 allegations, HR1 allegations against me that have no merit. Again, they have no merit. Talked about Yvonne Walker living her best life in retirement. Our union has given her money to help her campaign for the retiree seat. That would not have happened if I was sitting in an office right now. Remember my campaign, 10-point platform, point number 1, no politics, no political spending. And then I told you, the pension and the CalPERS board, that's a little different. So then, should we have given her money? So let's look at her past track record. I would say no. Other people would say yes. Well, then let's take a vote with membership on that. and see how they feel. That's what would have happened if I was still at that headquarters building. Now they're saying that, hey, they didn't give $200,000 to Yvonne Walker for her campaign for the CalPORS retiree seat. They said they didn't give $200,000. They're saying they didn't give $100,000. Some say $10,000. Some say $75,000. Nobody knows the truth. Remember, I've been asking for those financial expenditures since February 27th, 2022. And Local 1000 refuses to answer me as a board of director. They won't answer. Why won't they answer? Because they know they're wrong. That's why they don't want to answer. And they were to fight me in court and then take me to court. They said, well, when's the next court date with the Billy Hall lawsuit? When's that next court case? I don't know. Ask Billy Hall. You know, you guys always want to ask me all the questions. Ask him and see what he tells you. Yeah, let him go on record and tell you why we didn't go to court in August and September. Let him go on record and tell you. Since you have so much faith in him. Since I'm such a deterrent, or detriment, should I say, to the union. Let him tell you. I'm not running from no one. Why did they have to go out and get an independent arbitrator for my HR 1? Because it's a racket. And you know it and I know it. I said earlier, are you tired of being a slave to SIU International? Service Employees International Union? Are you tired of being a slave? Slaves entertaining in unity? Are you tired of that? See, I can say that to black folks. Doesn't mean anything to them. But what the question is, white people were never slaves. They were indigent servants, some of them that came to America. So for a white person to be a slave to this system, I know they're mad. I know they are upset. And they should be. Don't let no one make you a slave, regardless of what color you are. All right, so people on the Zoom, please mute yourself. Okay, and I'm going to get to the hand raise here in a second. But I'm talking strong tonight. I want to send a message. I want to send a message. All right, everybody on Zoom, please mute yourself. All right, hold on, everyone. Hold on 1 second here. I want everyone on Zoom to please mute themselves. Okay. I'm talking strong tonight. And when people quit on this union because of the atmosphere that's been created, because they're trying to remove me from office, that's not what Americans do. Remember back in 2018, real Americans fight. Remember when I said that and people got offended by it? Well, what does that mean, real Americans? That means when you got the realness in you to fight corruption in this country, to fight for justice in this country. That's what real Americans fight. Whether you were born here, or whether you came over here as an enslaved African, or an indentured servant, or looking for a better way of life, that's what that means. And before someone says, well, you sound angry tonight. No, that's your hang-up. I'm not angry, I'm passionate. And why do you always assume, because I'm talking with strength and conviction, that I'm angry? Because I'm not angry. What I'm trying to figure out is, when are you going to get passionate and take action and help me get back into my presidency? That's the question I have for you tonight. I'm giving you the answers, but for some people, you can give them the answers and they still won't take the test because of their lack of self-esteem, their lack of motivation, their work ethic. You ever seen that? You try to give somebody the answer to the test and they still don't want to take the test? All right, we'll get back to some of these other things here in a second. I see a hand raised, so I'm gonna go to Joel. Joel DS on Zoom. Go ahead, sir. Hello, Joel. I see you have your hand raised. Did you do that by mistake?
I'll speak.
Oh, you don't want to speak? Okay. All right. Well, Joe, thanks for coming on tonight. Well, Joe, what is your last name? Hi, Joel. What is your last name? Okay. All right. So thank you, sir. So, Joe, I've never seen you come on tonight. So when people who normally don't come on my Zoom, I try to interact with them and let them talk and stuff so that we have new people coming on. As you know, a lot of times, currently with Local 1000, if you go on their videos, you're welcome. If you go on their videos, they don't allow you to talk. They'll cut you off. If you challenge them or whatever, then they get mad and they just, they won't let you on the call again. I welcome the challenge. Because if you can't take challenges from your, quote, representative employees of Local 1000, then how are you going to challenge the state of California to get us a 21% pay increase? This is how I said this. If you're afraid to take on a member, a dues-paying member, or a representative employee who wants to become a dues-paying member, if you're afraid to go on and take them on a video, unscripted, unrehearsed, in front of the entire union, and basically in front of the whole world, then how the heck are you going to go and fight Governor Gavin Newsom after he wins this election? How are you going to fight and get us a substantial pay increase? You're not going to. You have no intention on ever fighting for us, but you have every intention on lying and being duplicitous, corrupt, deceitful, and creating an atmosphere of distrust about my leadership, Richard Lewis Brown. That you will do. Because that's all that you know how to do. Now, there is a board meeting coming up September 23rd to the 25th. Ironically, 2 of those days are an executive session. So you're not going to know what they're talking about unless they get out of the executive session and then open it up for everyone to discuss routine general business. Now, I have told you that chair position is illegal. I have never backed up on that. There are people on the board who are fighting each other trying to get to that chair position. I'm going to say something to you right now at 6:38, and you're going to laugh when I say it. If I'm Billy Hall, and all the lies and hustles that I've done to try to get Richard up out of here, I don't blame Billy. I don't think he's going to fight like a cat and a dog and a lion and a tiger to keep the position that he manipulated himself into. I can't blame him. I can't blame him. He has lied and connived and done every trick in the book to get himself into that position. I hope he watches this video, because they're coming for him next week. Now, you would think he has the votes to protect himself, to keep his chair. You won't see this on video. They're not going to put this out on Facebook. I can guarantee you that. Because you won't see how corrupt they are. Ain't going to be no Robert Rules of Order. They're going to lie and connive and do everything. And to be honest, Billy? I'm laughing. Now maybe he's counting his votes. He says, well, I control this board. I got the votes. I do what I want to do. Do you? Because they're coming for you. In fact, oh gosh, I meant to do this tonight before we started this video. You know, they've been telling you that because I don't go, other people on the board won't go to the meeting. And you know what? Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to go to this for a second. Because from what I can tell, I'm not affecting who's going to these meetings. You know what? You should ask your DLC president, send me the agenda for the upcoming board meeting, and then look to see at the last board meeting who all went versus who all didn't go. And what you're going to see, man, a lot of folks went to that meeting. A lot of people went to that meeting. And from what I can see, People on the board who like me, they went too. See, I told you. This is the crazy thing. I'm laughing now. They've been telling you all along that because I don't go to the meetings and I don't encourage some of the DLC presidents who support me to go to the meetings, that's affecting them and that they're one voter, 2 votes off. They were lying and lying and lying through their teeth. Ask your DLC president for the agenda that got put out. And then go to the DLC, the roster who went to the last board meeting. And you're going to see all those DLC presidents who went. I didn't have nothing to do with that. And so if they really wanted to get something done to, quote, remove Billy from his chair position, they could have did it the last meeting. What happened? Where's your votes at? I thought you counted your votes. I thought you were so smart. I thought you were so strategic and so savvy. And that you could play in the sandbox. You were a liar, you were a liar, you were a liar. Knew what I was talking about. I knew what I was talking about, and I didn't even know who went and who didn't go. See, that's God. That's God standing by my side. And sometimes you say, well, where's your God at now? You ain't running the union. I have not lost faith in God through Jesus Christ. This is my faith. But some of you don't know what faith is. You know, I should take that and send that out. So that you can see that people were going to that meeting regardless of what I said to them. So where's the votes at? Where's the votes? Do you have enough votes to get Billy out of here? Now listen to this. They know the chair is an illegal position, but all they want to do is vacate it. And then put David Jimenez, Secretary Treasurer, in as the, quote, chair. Really? Then why don't you just go back to the policy file and keep it the way it was? Because it's still in place, the policy file. They done screwed all this up religiously. And this is why they won't show you everything. Remember, when I did my board meetings, I put it all out in the open. And when they went to go to an executive session, I would throw an attitude like, you're trying to do something sneaky. All right, enough talk. All right, so first hand raise. Go ahead, Jerry Lee. Hi, Jerry Lee. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just on
okay.
the picture screen right now.
Oh, you look good. You look good. I see you loud and clear.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I talked to you earlier, Richard. Tonight, I just want to share some of my thoughts that I had this afternoon.
Okay.
For you that weren't privy to my conversation earlier, I was just minding my own business. Richard's words came back to haunt me about voting. That in America, we basically don't charge anybody to pay for voting. We do not have club memberships that are requisite for being a voter. But I don't know what we have here in SEIU is that if you don't pay, you don't vote. And I thought, that's really like shooting ourselves in the foot when it comes around to time for just about our wages and our benefits. We don't have enough people voting because they're not members to overwhelm, if you would, HR to get our way for benefits and wages. We just don't have enough people. So who are those people? We have about 100,000 people, and I'm using this broadly. This is not, I looked up data. Broadly speaking, we have nearly 100,000 people, or just about that. Less than 10% of that are members who vote, or who could vote, but not even all of them vote. So in rough numbers, we have about 90,000 people who don't vote at all. They're not interested in representation. Mainly, we think of representation as being something that is happening when you have a bad boss or an tolerable working situation, but representation also is what our vice presidents do. Sometimes we're not very impressed with them. For example, the teleworkers got a a $25 stipend for working at home 1 or 2, maybe 3 days a week. Because it's not part of the contract, it's taxed at 40%. And the remainder of 40% leaves 60%, obviously, of $25. And it's hardly enough to buy 3 rolls of toilet paper every month. If you're a full-time person that teleworks from the field, you got $50 and 40% of it was taken away in taxes. Have you checked the price of McDonald's Big Mac Happy Meal? It's more than you're getting in that 60% that's left over. Wrong. And when they signed the contracts, it left us no ability to challenge HR about that stipend. It was taken away from us. So how can we do any better? So there's that kind of representation. There's people that are going into the field and encouraging people to become members. Is that representation? I wonder if they would agree if they knew about this business with the telework. I don't know, maybe. But basically, if you have nearly 90,000 people that are not members, they're telling us a message, I think, a rather strong one. That they don't care about the union and they don't care to vote. They're disenfranchised, many of them. Some of them just want to take the money and run. And there's, for 90,000 people, there are probably 90,000 different reasons why they don't. But if a half of those people even became active voters when it came time to say what we want in our contract and for wages and benefit, now that would make a huge difference. Let's take Unit 1. Susan Rodriguez works tirelessly for Unit 1 members. Non-members too. She hopes that we will bring in enough, but we're so far away from having about 65,000 people be members that we really might not meet that number. We've been up in the 40s before, 40%, 40, who's that face on screen? Some of the people that are to get better jobs think coming to the state is better. But I'm not sure that the working conditions and our salaries and benefits, by the time you take out commute and work at take home, a variety into field that you don't get paid enough for what we're doing. So here we are. We have a bunch of people that are disenfranchised. They don't want to be a member. They think that they don't have any problems. Maybe they have some problems, but it's not worth paying for it. A union that isn't giving them proper attention. I don't know. But if they ask myself, what do you do about that? What is it that the want? We get them to vote. These are questions that are in my thoughts this second. And I think that they have a right, whether they're members or not, to vote on what they get for their contract, particularly about wages and benefits. They share, even though they're not members, they share with us in what we need from our contract that we're not getting. Do you know that in the last 10 to 15 years that the state employees have lost the bond about 56%? This is a rough thing, not based on clean thing, but about 56% of their buying power used to be middle class. I'm an SFA. I'm now in lower level retirement that way. So how are we going to get enough people to give their information and operate with us to convince HR that we mean business? We really do need pay and better wages. It just shot me in the foot kind of thing. Wait a minute, I'm myself in the foot, but I said, you know, if we don't change the contract, and if we don't change the laws and allow these people to vote at least on their wages and benefits, we are never going to have good wages and benefits. I don't have the answers to all of this. I really don't. And I'm not manic and I'm not crazy. I'm saying to you, some of you have some really great ideas about how we can work with these things. Darren, over there with Angelique, you are as bright as anybody I know. Ron, you are also extraordinarily bright. If we just pick up some more people like this, and Derek Roque, you are also very bright. We need to pick up some of these people and create some talk sessions somehow. None of this travel business, this should all be virtual. Members and non-members. And start thinking about how we can get this business of getting that you got to be a member in order to vote. I agree, there are some things that require a membership. Maybe the representation for bad bosses and bad working conditions is something that should have a membership fee to it, because we've got to support the people whose jobs will be to dig us out of these situations. Some of us need that. Some of us need just money and benefits. Some of us need both of those. So I want to encourage all of you not to lay back, but really spend some time thinking through how can we get these people. It's not just recruitment with those people. They're not going to come back in numbers and stay long enough to vote. They're going to come in because they act with goodwill. They will finally say, oh yes, let me fill out that form, and they'll try to drop those dues and fast. We need them to stay long enough to vote with us and get the right amount of wages, and not just the right amount, but a fair amount for the work that we give California. Think of what California would be like if they shut down the department that you work in. The work that you do is critical in every one of the departments that we have here, or they would have downsized and closed you. You know, we are important, and it's time that we take the responsibility for being important and get going on how are we going to get these votes. It isn't going to be by one new members. We need massive change. I can only think that there needs to be some legislative changes, departmental changes, HR changes. I'm really energized about it. I don't have very many answers. In fact, I don't think I have any answers, but I have a lot of questions, and out of questions come answers. Let us spend some more time on this. Richard has got us thinking about that people don't pay to vote. And here we have approximately 90,000 people that are telling us they see things the same way. Richard doesn't represent them, but he surely has spoken for them. So I want to close my thought on this. Don't send me any hate mail. I'm not interested. But I want you to start thinking about this, because I think we need to talk more on Richard's Wednesday night conversations. Thank you, Richard. I'm going to close up now.
Okay, well, thank you for calling in, Jerry Lee. So I'm going to try to recap what she said kind of quickly so I can go to the next person, because I've been talking for a while. And I got it written down on my paper. Listen. I know people are going to be shocked when I say that. So anyway, first point. If our union was 100,000, like it was some months ago, 90% of our union doesn't care. She's right when she says that. When they did the retaliatory suspension of me and we accepted the 50 and 25, that's garbage. It went against the membership survey that we took twice. The latest one was in December of 2021. And like she said, when you tax it by 40%, it's garbage. She didn't say the word garbage. I'm saying that. Then she talked about, oh boy, why does that 90% of our union, why don't they care? And I would tell Jerry Lee and to everyone on this call and on Zoom, that's my fault. That's my fault. I have to inspire people to care. Then she said, how can we get them to vote? How can we get them to care about voting on the wages and the contract? But she didn't say about voting on leadership, because leadership will decide what is brought to you to vote on. So I would say you let everyone vote, whether they pay money or not. But if you're giving a high rate of return, then people would be inclined to want to pay money. So then you have this idea that people will want a free ride. Why pay for something you can get it for free? I don't believe that. I believe that people have a tendency to do what is right. And only 10% of those people on earth are, quote, acting in a criminal, deceitful fashion. Let me go to the next thing. She said this is a really great point. We've lost 60% of our buying power and our money over, I think she said, the last 10, 15 years. She's right. This is why you got to have a COLA and a GEO pay. And if you can't get GEO pay, you got to have COLA to keep up with the cost of living, keep up with the rate of inflation. Then she said something else. Our work is critical. For the fourth or fifth largest economy on earth, our work is critical. We can shut this state down. I'm saying that part. We can shut the state down. She said the work was critical. She's absolutely right. I'm gonna go back to that voting, but I've been talking for 3 minutes after she stopped at 6:55. I'm gonna go to Derek, and then I'm gonna go to Darren. So go ahead, Derek.
Good evening, Mr. President. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. Am I coming in clear right now?
Oh, loud and clear.
Oh, awesome. Hey, I was just going to ask if Mr. Reed, if you don't mind, can you please mute? It's kind of been going on for a few moments. And I want to pick up where Jerry Lee left off at. You know, she was kind of talking about, like, people, it kind of goes with what you were saying, Richard, people losing that faith. I think people need to be more committed now than ever. You know, since at this present time, this is the only true call to be on. I hate to say it. I think that's why the other call may have taken a little hiatus for the time being on this Wednesday night. Because let's be honest, those numbers weren't looking too good on the other call. And I'm not knocking anyone, but I want to go into saying, it wasn't too long ago I remember getting this email from Billy, and I'm only bringing Billy up because there's no way to get a hold of him at this time. He doesn't have a call. He doesn't, he writes these from the desk letters. But I remember very distinctly in this letter, he was talking about how he was traveling, and he saved so much on his breakfast bill and his lunch bill and his dinner bill by going to McDonald's. Well, Billy, I just want to congratulate you and be the first one, because oh boy, when you advocated and fought so hard for those fast food workers to get their wages increased, hey, give it a few months. I want to see that bill then when your quarter pounder goes up to $5.50 for a burger. Oh, you want cheese on that? Oh, there you go. There's an extra $2, okay? The second thing I want to bring up, and I'm gonna make my call very fast here, is there has to be a way for this BOT meeting they're gonna hold next week, which 9 out of 10 of it will be behind closed doors, I'm sure, because they don't want to air anything out to the public because they're afraid when the cameras are on and the lights are on and everything else. We have to unite, guys. I feel like it's almost our duty to let our members at this point know what's going on. Is there a way we can unite to all request in unison that this be a open to the public meeting? I don't think there's anything preventing us from that. I mean, I know they have these executive sessions, They're just saying that's behind closed doors, but they didn't say nothing about us obtaining a transcript or something, you know? I want to know what's going on in there, word for word, who says what, who does what, who moves what, everything. And I don't know how everyone else feels, but I'm going to leave that one up in the air. Yeah, get ready. Buckle up, get your popcorn. It's going to be a shit show next week. Excuse my French. I can't wait. Everyone have a good night.
So thank you for, excuse me. Thank you for calling in, Derek. You know, he made a comment about GOC 744 President Billy Hall and the emails he had sent out saying how much money he was saving and this and that. He doesn't have, in my personal opinion, and I don't have anything. I don't have anything against Billy Hall. I don't. But he hasn't respected the membership. Because if he respected the membership, he wouldn't be trying to run me out of office. So he doesn't respect the membership. He doesn't respect voting. He says that he does, but he doesn't. And when he says that he's saving money and stuff like that, he's living in La La Land. Because that $42,000 that our money paid for his attorney to sue me and to sue Local 1000 and to sue SEIU International, so he doesn't talk about that part. He leaves that part out. Now, this board meeting next weekend, 23rd to the 25th, everyone should be contacting their DLC president saying, send me the agenda. That's not hard to do. Call the MRC, 866-471-7348, and say, hey, we want that whole board meeting open. We don't want no closed door session. We want to air it all out in front of the whole world, what they're talking about. We don't care what the policy file says. Give us complete transparency. That's what you should do. That's not hard for you to do. That doesn't take a lot of effort. There should be a transcript of those board meetings. I've asked for those transcripts. They won't give them to me. Let me stop here. So let's go to the next caller, Darren Stahl. Go ahead, Darren.
Good evening, President Brown, and good evening, my fellow members of Local 1000. Actually, I got a few things that I kind of want to put out there. One of them is, I think, a nice little saying, is a picture or a painting is not always true. And when doors are in front of you, doors are not always something that actually keeps you at bay, but it's something that you can walk through. Wanted to kind of go through a few things and share my disappointment in seeing a lot of my fellow members have filed cancellations with the union. Again, I don't want to see it. I can understand for some folks, but it's at this point, at this moment, I don't think that's the correct course of action to be pursued. So for some of the folks that listen to this, I really would like to see some personal reflection on that and some second thought and there's an old saying of staying in the fight. You're not out. Just to kind of parlay off of Jerry, I appreciate the kind words, Jerry. Thank you very much. And a little bit of what Derek had to say. When we talk about transparency, it's actually kind of funny because when you have access to bartenders that are in the vicinity of our Local 1000 building, and you ask the right questions, and you find out how much people frequent those establishments and break out their union card.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold it right there. Let me repeat what you just said. You said transparency, and you said that the bars and the restaurants that are close to our Local 1000 headquarters building you're saying that there's a possibility that people are using the credit cards to buy liquor?
That's a possibility. You know, I mean, well, you know, we can hide it as a stipend expense or whatever, but, you know, there's some things that are done with our money that, you know, some people think they have the obligation to be able to do because of what they are or who they think they are. And, but, you know, sometimes you got to sit back and say, okay, is this the right thing to do?
Okay.
Lack of transparency. That's one of the other things that I really want to try to drive home, and hopefully a lot of people that are listening on Facebook. When the Janus decision was leveled against the unions in the United States, the largest tenet and the biggest reason why the Janus decision came to be is because you had unions refusing to be transparent with the membership. So no matter who says what about some Freedom Foundation bullcrap or whatever drum that they want to pretend to beat on, the Janus decision came along because of ourselves, so to speak, as a union and not wanting to defend how they spend money to the membership. So whoever's listening, you know, the VPs, Mr. Hall or whoever our sock puppet Brian is that thinks he knows how to be a social media expert there at Local 1000, but I think I can find a couple of high school interns that can do better work than he's doing for the salary that he's making. But, you know, that's a different story. There needs to be some reflection, and there needs to be some review. And in regards to the upcoming meeting, I will definitely be making my phone call tomorrow to request that the meeting would be opened up and to have a public provision of the agenda as it is, as it was submitted to all of the DLC presidents. And, you know, for those folks that feel that they are safe and sound with what they're doing and where they're at, you know, you can only hold on to 14 or 15 people that haven't had a clue to what's been going on in the union when they first got voted in. But now that they see what's been happening, what's going around, you can't rely on those 14 or 15 people to protect you anymore. So, you know, there's some things that definitely need to be put out there. And then one last point, we talked about voting, and I have Jeremy, you know, discussing about allowing our non-members to vote. There is a hypocrisy, and I am going to put my foot down and arch my back and maybe put your finger out a little bit and scratch in the chest too. But when you support as a union, quote unquote, healthcare for all, and you're wanting everybody to pay for healthcare, everybody else, how are you living in this illusion that I don't want non-members to vote? When you're stating that, oh, non-members are a bunch of freeloaders. Really? But then we want to be able to support people that aren't really part of the state legally. So there needs to be some personal reflection on that, because you're not living by the values that you espouse. The values you espouse publicly, when you're denying members their right to vote and their right to a voice. You I seen a lot of people on social media from our union, jumping on the deals that were going on. I believe it was in Georgia a couple years ago about people not having, people being not having their vote heard and not being a part of the process. Guess what? You want to call out supposedly the other side for doing it, but yet you're doing the same thing to your own brothers and sisters that are part of the union. And I'm hoping there's some folks on the board that really, get a chance to hear this, because it is what it is. If we want to have those values, guess what? You got to live those values, even though it's to your detriment. Because if it's not to your advantage, then we'll call it what it is. You're a hypocrite. Plain and simple. So, that's all I have, to say tonight, Brother Brown. But yes, I will be calling the MRC to request a provision of that of the board meeting, and it definitely needs to be made public, because we need to know what the board is looking at. And an uninformed electorate is an uninformed electorate. And when you don't provide them with the information, then it's not stupidity of why you're doing it. It's on purpose, because you don't want people to know. And that's it. And the rest of my local 1,000 folks, good night.
Darren, excellent. I had wrote down when Jeremy was talking, I must talk about voting, and you brought it back to about the voting. I'm gonna talk about this voting, and I'm gonna really lay this out tonight. I don't know how I'm gonna say it, because I do my stuff unscripted, unrehearsed, but I'm gonna talk about this voting and about the hypocrisy. All right, so Mario, I see you had your hand raised. Go ahead, sir.
Me on mute.
Yes, loud and clear.
Wow, Darren said some things very, very well.
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh. Really, I'd like to follow up, but I had my own other issues as well, and that's transparency.
Okay.
So I went on the stewards call yesterday,
Okay.
and one of the subject was money, finances, and Anna replied, well, transparency is a two-way street. And I kind of replied, respectfully, no, because, and she couldn't take me back by that, of course. I go, because we like to do, I'm not spending any money, you are. And so I asked we could have credit card statements, as you posted before, Richard, for the house, for the coup, you said that, the credit card statements. Also, how many people have been on Union League? Who's been using Union League? How's it increased? And just simple facts. And I'm going to reply, as executive committee, we will not, and she was very stern on this, we will not provide credit card statements. She said that's not, this is what she said. She said, quote, if you want to see him, you can come up to Sacramento and you can look at the credit card statements. And then Mr. Jimenez said, well, transparency means going out to the prisons up here in Susanville. Just totally changing the subject, of course. And I was saying, I'll probably get it back, but I'll probably be with you later, because I will ask for the credit card statements. And also follow up on Darren, ask the board agenda for next week, which was, it was all, on the Union Stewards meeting, it was like an afterthought. It was never mentioned at the beginning, which is, I thought, kind of strange. It's Union Steward meeting, we should all be informed. We should be talking to members about what's happening in the board meeting next week. And it was never the board meeting was never discussed in the Steward meeting.
Mario, let me say this, Mario, and then I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
If anyone cannot get the agenda, just text me, 408-207-2339. Just text me, and then I'll get it to you. So go ahead, Mario.
Yeah, but the whole money issue was definitely something that was. I'll just say this: they were they didn't want to discuss it, and they basically muted me off on that. Oh, we gotta go. Gotta go. 8 o'clock. Oh, we're past our time, and they shut me down. But let me ask you, Richard, those credit card statements, can we ask for them? If we ask for them, are they supposed to provide copies of that to us? Because I don't really want to travel to Sacramento.
So, anybody who's been watching my Facebook page, as a board member on the board, I have asked for all the financial expenditures. They won't give them to me. Anybody on that board is entitled by the California Corporations Code, because they love to talk about the California Corporations Code, they're entitled to those financial documents. How do you know this? Just call 866-471-7348 and ask to speak to the Chief Counsel, Ann Giese, so she can confirm that to you. If she refuses to confirm that to you, or she says that people on the board are not entitled to the financial documents for this corporation, this non-profit mutual benefit 501c, she's a liar. See, I'm talking strong tonight. And I have a reason for why I say things at certain times. Have your DOC president request for those financial documents for those credit card statements. If your DOC president tells you he or she can't get it, she's a liar. He or she is a liar. If you need the corporation's code, contact me. I don't have the code memorized. But they're lying to you. And I want them to see this video. I have asked 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I've asked 5 times for the financial expenditures, along with the meeting notes, along with all the votes since February 27th. No response. Or in fact, you can go right to my website, go right to my Facebook, R.L. Brown, go back in the past, and you'll see, because I posted the email up there. You can copy and paste that email and send that to your DOC president and say, I want the same information Richard was asking for. And see if he or she will get that information for you. Here's the rest of the story. If he or she says they can't get it for you, then you can best believe they're voting to remove me from office. How's that? Now you can count and see how many people are trying to remove me from office off the board. You can do your own count. If anybody needs the list of the DOC presidents and stuff, I'll give it to you. Okay. Yeah.
We had this discussion.
Hold on 1 second, Mario. I don't want you to hang up on me. So I see. So this person is on Facebook, and she's been making a lot of great comments. So I want to acknowledge her, Maria. I'm trying to keep up with your comments while I'm talking to people on Zoom. I have tried to get a labor attorney to work pro bono, Maria. Hard to come by because of politics. But Maria is absolutely right. And then she had put something else up. And I see what Colleen Colward, if I'm saying your last name correctly, she says, my feed shows that Annika is watching. Yes, Annika is watching. She always watches. Sometimes she watches when you can see her watching, and sometimes she comes on later so she knows how to talk on her next call. Because no one has still told me how she's doing her Tuesday night calls, Local 1000 speak on it. No one has told me how she was able to do that. I'm waiting for someone to type it in here. Just waiting. And then I also see Maria says, you need to ask non-members why they choose not to be members. You may be surprised by their answers. No, I wouldn't be surprised, Maria.
No.
Yeah, it's politics. That's how I got elected. I got elected, and I don't care about the next election because this is not about me. I got elected because I said no political spending. I got elected because I said our union should not be involved in Black Lives Matter. And a lot of white people were shocked to hear a black man say that. And then they were like, dang, this black guy, I know he's proud to be black, but yet he's telling me we shouldn't be involved in Black Lives Matter. It has nothing to do with the union. I can't figure Richard out. No, Richard's a real one. I've been telling y'all this for years upon years upon years. All right, not to cut you off, so let's go back to what you were saying, sir. Go ahead, Mario.
Oh, no, everything is fine.
Okay.
But yeah, but if Annika's watching,
Okay.
I also was, I thought, I will say this to her in the next meeting. I also felt disrespected when the fact that here I'm on the phone call asking questions, and our Mr. Scott Smith interrupted, and they went on a different discussion. That's a whole different other discussion. But the money, financials, not being upfront, that to me is a red flag, Richard. Especially when they say upfront, well, we have nothing to hide. We're not hiding. I'm sorry, Richard, but I wasn't born yesterday. We're not trying to hide anything, but we can't release them.
Mario, I told you I don't have anything personal against Annika Walls. See, people don't know the story. People don't know the story about her, but I do. Listen, Annika will never tell you the truth. It's just not in her. She's a wonderful person.
Yeah, I like her. She's a nice person.
Yeah, but she's a complete liar. Everything that comes out of her mouth is duplicitous, it's deceitful, and it's always about what she can gain out of whatever she's saying. She can't keep track of her lies. She has to practice on being able to memorize her lies and being able to stick with her lie. And she hasn't learned how to do that yet.
Well, how is that being nice?
Well, let me finish it.
Okay.
Actually, Richard, that actually bodes well for you. Because one thing I've noticed in the court of law is this: once you put your right hand up and swear to God to tell the truth,
Right.
those lawyers will eat you up on contradictions, especially those who are, who tell lies.
She's being ate up right. Hold on a second.
I don't want to say anything, but I'm just saying in general, my experience in the court of law.
Right. So this is why this HR1 is the internal process that she's trying to get me kicked out of the union. The lawsuit with Billy Hall is to get me kicked off the board. Two separate issues. The internal process is rigged. Okay? They went out and got an independent arbitrator, and then they made sure he was a black man so they could say that it wasn't racist. That's a lie. This is still a racist process. I don't care if it is a black man who's arbitrating, Homer LaRue. Everybody knows this. Now, the lawsuit about catching her in a lie, the lawsuit is Billy Hall's lawsuit. He's wrong for his lawsuit. He's going to lose this in court. I'm telling you this. And I just seen Kevin Healy come on here too. DLC 752 President Kevin Healy. I know the things he's done. I just haven't said it yet. I'm just waiting for the right time. Just waiting.
Richard, respectfully, I saw that SEIU propaganda on what happened at Quinton, and there's a lot of stories in that whole, because I used to work, I know about California and how they work. And, it's like, okay, Mr. Healy, you go ahead and puff up, but there's lots of that story that's not factual. I'll just say that. I can tell right now. But I didn't do any kind of investigation on that. But believe me, Richard, there's a lot of people. That's why Derek was commenting how a lot of people don't want to call on Wednesdays, because people they're catching on. The hypocrisy, as Darren says, and the lack of truth, which leads to a lack of trust.
And let me say this, Mario. All the things that you're hearing from Local 1000 right now is about 99% lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie. And they send out these emails. So look, they send out emails 2 or 3 times a week trying to convince you of the lie.
Yep.
And be at the board meeting, they haven't sent out that email to all of the membership, all representative employees saying about the board meeting, because they don't want you to know. And they're fighting on the board. Like, I know they're fighting on the board. I can't quite prove it, but there's different factions on the board fighting each other because they can't respect who won the election, because they're all in it for themselves. They're not in it for, quote, the representative employees of Local 1000. Remember, they say they're in it for the members. When they say members, that means money. They're only in it for the money. That's why I say for the represented employees of Local 1000, even those who don't pay, I as a job steward, I'm still responsible to represent them by our contract. But they don't say that.
Richard, you made a very good point on that. If the board was truly unified in serving the members, they wouldn't have any arguments. There would be consistent agreement every time in the meeting, but there's not. So obviously, they're not fighting the members.
And now, and now
That's a good point, Richard. That's a good point.
listen, they're not. Look, they never. The way our union was created was never about fighting for the members. That's not what it was created. It was created as a financial aqueduct to the Democratic Party. Okay, and that's why I'm gonna go back to that voting here in a second. But when you're done, I'm gonna go to Yolanda Williams, and then I'm gonna go to this voting situation.
She's been waiting. But anyway, Richard, you're doing a good job. I want you back as president. We need you, bro.
Listen, Mario, that touches my heart. I am fighting.
I know you are.
And look, Billy and Kevin Healy and Annika and all these people, they know I'm fighting these people. They know. They know. Okay.
And Darren, I want to say again, Darren, you speak very well. Thank you.
That's excellent. Okay, let's go to Yolanda Williams. Go ahead, Yolanda.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
All right. First of all, I want to say, how can somebody be nice and lie after lie after lie? Really?
Okay.
You nice? I mean, come on now.
All right.
I don't know. That's just me. You lying out you just lying like a big dog. But you nice? No, you got something wrong with you if you are a pathological liar. If you can lie with a straight face and act like you ain't doing nothing wrong, something wrong with you. That's serious trouble. Serious. Then I want to say, as far as the members, the paying dues members, we have to, regarding voting, something's got to set us aside for the people who paying their money. I'm for the brothers and sisters and all that, but if they ain't paying no money, I really don't think they should have a say. I mean, I know you don't feel that way, Richard. I know.
No, Yolanda.
Wait, but I just have to say, we have to have a perk.
Right. So
Something.
hold on, Yolanda. Wait, Yolanda. Right. So Yolanda, don't go anywhere. Stay with me. Someone just agreed with you on Facebook. So I want to tell you that Colleen Coward on Facebook just agreed with you. So continue on, Yolanda. Go ahead.
All right, Colleen, you ready to go?
All right. Go ahead.
Anyway, I just feel like we should, as people who putting our money out there, put your money where your mouth is, that we should have some perks, And if people want to have a say in their benefits, in their raises, because they all for raises. Every time you talk to somebody about the union, what about our raises? What about you getting involved? What about that? How about that? So I'm just saying.
So wait.
As dues-paying people,
Okay.
the ones who's paying should have some type of perk. And if that's voting rights, then that's voting rights. That just lets people know,
Right.
hey, if you want to make change, pay your money, be a part.
So wait a minute.
That'll make you want to vote.
Hold on. So Yolanda, I want you to stay with me because now I got to really talk about this voting. Diane Jacobson also agrees with you, Yolanda. But the reason why I want Yolanda to stay with me when I talk about this voting, because I'm black and she's black, and we are both from the Midwest. And I want you to hear this conversation tonight. So listen to this. On September 14th, 2022, I am a descendant of the enslaved African. Voting is very, very important to me. When you say that we should have perks if we're paying our money, you don't pay money to have perks to vote, because that's what they tried to do black folks from years ago, make them pay money to vote. When you talk about perks, Yolanda, the entertainment benefits that we get as being dues paying members, those are your perks. But to be represented by this union, you should be able to vote on contracts and on leadership, whether you pay money or not. Because we as job stewards, we are legally obligated to fight for people whether they pay money or not by that contract. But because of all these years, the reason why they're insistent that you have to pay money to vote in this union, because SEIU International is getting a cut of every dollar that's paid to this union. And so this is about money. This is about money. And so when you really question people, and when I say, hey, I'm a real one, I am from, no problem, Diane Jacobson, no problem. I am a real one from the black community, and I know you are too, Yolanda. But I am making this point. You do not have to pay money to vote in this great country when you vote for state and federal leadership. Period.
But Richard, that
Yes.
is state and leadership. This is talking about a union in regards to our raises and stuff like that. We ain't talking about the United States. That's a whole different ball.
No. Hold on, Yolanda. It's not a whole different ball game.
Benefit from those raises, they get it too.
Hold on, Dornini. I'm glad. Hold on. Somebody else has chipped in. They said that they benefit. Yes, they benefit. Listen to this. And this is why this situation with them trying to remove me from office is going to be a headache for them long term. That Janus decision said you cannot automatically deduct someone's money for politics. That's why that Janus decision came out. But here's what the Janus decision also said. Down the road, giving a union exclusive representative bargaining power is wrong, and it violates a person's freedom. So, Yolanda, if you say, hey, those people, if they don't want to pay money, they should enjoy our perks, then we should not have the exclusive representative power to control their wages and working conditions. Let them go and join their own union and fight and do what they want to do. So when we get our pay increase, they shouldn't get one. But because of the exclusive representative clause that was put into place years ago by Governor Jerry Brown, that caused a headache. And so now the governor can get presidents of unions in this state to agree with him, and now they can control you whether you pay money or not. And that's why it's wrong. See, that's the rest of the story that no one will talk about, not in this union and not in these other public sector unions in the state of California. And this is why God has put me here in this position to tell you all the information.
Okay, that's your opinion.
No, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. The exclusive representative clause is a fact. So even Yolanda, you say, well, you know what, Richard, I'm done with Local 1000. They ran you out of office. I'm cutting my ties with them. You can run to any union you want to. This union will still control your wages and working conditions, period, because of the exclusive representative clause that will be struck down sometime down the road by this United States Supreme Court. And that's why you cannot tell someone, hey, you got to pay money unless you to vote. That's wrong, because you're controlling their wages and working conditions when they didn't ask you to. That's wrong.
Wow.
So and this is why I'm so grateful that you brought this out. Because when I talk to someone from the community, then they can't say, well, you know, Richard was on Facebook tonight and he was yelling at the white people. No, Richard got into a conversation with another black person about voting. And so now they're seeing two black people, not from California, but from the Midwest. Because you and I have talked. We know California does not really represent America. But this voting is critical. And I was being given hell for putting that in my 10-point platform. Fair enough. But Yolanda, you said, Richard, you have your 10-point platform.
Wait. Okay, Richard.
Go ahead.
What's the perk then for somebody putting their money? If we're going to represent them, fine. And this is a bargaining unit exclusively, fine. So what's the perk? What's the perk for a person actually giving their money out? What's the perk for us?
You know what, Yolanda? Someone is saying the same thing on Facebook. Diane Jacobson's asking the same question. What are the perks? There ain't no perks. Now, if you say the perks are the entertainment discounts and the life insurance discounts and buying a home mortgage discount, if that's a perk, then I would say yes, that is a perk. Because it tells you when you become a dues paying member, the whole list of things, I don't have the list in front of me, on your perks versus a non-member. Now, for some people, a home mortgage is a perk, but for other people, it's not a perk. And this is where things get tough. Because you should not be putting a financial price on voting in this country that I was going to die for. I was going to die for people who don't even think that I'm their equal and that you're not their equal either. But I'm still going to die for them. So I want you to have your freedom of speech. I want you to be able to vote in this country and not be told you got to pay money for voting. Especially when this union will control your wages and working conditions even if you don't pay money.
Okay, even if they don't pay money, then that'll make everybody say, oh, okay, then let's not pay money. Then y'all don't have no money. Y'all have nothing to run the union.
Wait.
Yeah, but you gotta still represent me. You still gotta represent me, but I'm gonna keep my money. Now I understand. Wait.
Okay.
Now I understand how everybody's saying, let me go ahead and keep my $55. Let me keep my $90. Because what you're saying is, hey, y'all gotta represent me anyway. So regardless of what y'all doing up there with your fighting and all that, hey, I'm gonna do my job, and then if I get in trouble, maybe y'all represent me.
Now, Yolanda, someone heard you on Facebook and they're agreeing with you. This is why I love these unscripted, unedited conversations, because everyone knows how much you support me. But I've always told people, my supporters are very unique. They'll tell you out of my 10-point platform the things they like and the things they don't like, but they still support me overall. And then my supporters say, if I can feel this way about you, then why the hell can't that board feel the same way? Because the board is not for the represent employees. But let's get back to what you were just saying. Some people say whether you pay money or not, you're not getting no representation. What difference does it make? After the Janus decision, Local 1000...
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Okay. Now, after the Janus decision, Local 1000 came out and said that, hey, if it's not contract related, we're not going to help you. That's well within their right. But yet they still want your money, though. They still want you to join the union. And so what I said, we're going to help you whether it's contract related or not. Because that's a great way to increase membership.
Okay.
Now, other people would say, if you ain't paying us no money, we ain't trying to help you unless it's contract related. And that's cost effective in the short term, but not in the long term. So there's a lot of strong opinions about this. And I respect your opinion. I've had this conversation with a lot of people. But this is the first time where I've had a really engaging conversation with another person, another African-American person that can say, okay, I can see what Richard's saying because I'm black like him, but I also see that paying the money is something that we gotta have to keep this union afloat. Absolutely, we need money to keep this union afloat. But we gotta give people a reason why they should pay money. That's what I was elected to do. And
that's what I'm asking. Like, what, how's our money being used?
Well, unfortunately, Mario touched on it, and so did Darren. All the transparency I was giving y'all, good days and bad days. You see me wild out on the video every now and then, but you saw everything, and you knew that I wasn't lying to you. So you accepted me with my shortcomings. And I don't want to sound racial when I say this, but I gotta say this. There's a lot of white people in Local 1000 who accepted this outspoken, loud-speaking, fast-talking black man with my shortcomings in the state of California. They accepted me with my shortcomings because they knew I spoke the truth. And I can't find that in a lot of other states in America. I won't find it. But here in California, I have the opportunity to be successful. So when I talk about racism and prejudice and how they're trying to run me out to office, let me in the same hand tell you that overall, the white people in California have given me an opportunity to be successful. Let that be on record tonight as well.
And maybe we should maybe when you get back in your seat, maybe we need to think about something to, if we're going to represent everybody, which is great. I understand it, how you feel. But, there's got to be a little bit more for people who paying their money. I mean, that'll make more people want to be paid,
Dues paying members?
Paying members.
Right.
Yes. I mean, so
right.
that's what
So you don't think the entertainment, you don't think the entertainment discounts and the home mortgages and the car insurance and the life insurance, you don't think that's quite enough? No. Okay. I know you're right, Yolanda, on this. I know that those benefits from being a dues paying member. This is what I was at. Okay, I'll tell you how.
You know what, Richard? I'm just saying, with the people who are paying their money like that, and other ones that are not paying or what have you, we represent. And I like the fact that you say you represent them, and that's great. Now, okay, that's what we're supposed to do. But I'm just saying, there's got to be a little bit more to make people say, you know what, I want to be a dues paying person not because I get 10% off of AMC. No.
Yolanda.
I want to be a dues paying member because da.
So.
Oh yeah, I want to be a dues paying member because you know what?
All right. So here, hold on, Yolanda. Check this out. I want to show you how unselfish I am, and even though some of my supporters will get mad at me for saying this. At 7:43 tonight, I'm waiting for this computer to say 7:43. I had an idea on how to increase membership, and I know all Annika and Billy and David, they're going to take this idea and they're going to run with it. But I don't care because I want to build membership.
Okay.
Should you pass away, I think the number was 5,000. If you're a dues paying member, you're automatically set aside for 5,000. Should you pass away, that money will go to whoever you designate on your beneficiary. I think that number should be a lot higher. That's all that I'll say. That number should be significantly higher to where it would entice a person to want to be a dues paying member.
Okay, got it.
Now, I was asked to do that. I didn't get a chance to do it because I knew the board was going to fight me on it, because they're never going to, they were never going to agree on anything I wanted to do. Nothing. Maybe currently, because of the Norway trip, maybe people will have a difference of opinion. But I know you're right about the perks are not worth it, because people on Facebook are supporting everything you're saying, Yolanda. I'm trying to watch you and on Facebook. So, and this is what happens when you don't give out transparency. Okay, so Diana on Facebook said she was 3,000. I think it's 3,000 or 5,000. I can't remember. I'll have the number for you by next week. In fact, hold on one second here. Hold on one second. Oh, shoot. All right, but I'll get that number for the
My last thing I want to say.
Okay.
Is before I let someone else speak, I want to say publicly that I appreciate Mario Chacon.
Okay.
Mario Chacon is a steward who has a heart. Mario Chacon is new at being a steward, and he took it upon himself to do an informal for me. And I want to publicly thank him, because I know he's doing stuff at his job with other people, and I was not in his DLC, but that man took the time. And this is what stewards are supposed to, you want to have a heart when you're helping people, because you want to do good by your brothers and sisters. So Mario Chacon, thank you. And I want to say that from the bottom of my heart.
All right. That is very nice. Very nice. Hopefully he heard that. All right. So let us go. Okay, I see Jerry Lee has her hand raised again. So go ahead, Jerry Lee.
Thank you. Yolanda, I like your energy. I like your discussion. I like your questions. They're really quite good. Consider this. We have, and I don't have any of the answers. I just am throwing out so that people like you and others that are on this chat tonight, get your little thinking blood moving. Consider what it would be like if the non-members were restricted only only every 3 years to vote for the benefits and salaries. Only that. Only that. No other voting. Just close the door after they get to vote for that. We might even include it not just for this part, but we might also include them voting for the DLC presidents, but sure as blankety blank. I don't want to see them picking or voting for the president and vice presidents and all of the other people. Sure as hell do not. Maybe somebody will convince me differently, but I think that's a piece of what happens when you are a member. You get a lot more inside information than those people will get as non-members. You ask that person that just finished helping you as he goes along, that he's going to be learning a lot of inside stuff. And the job of the stewards are to pass that on to people like you. I'm a steward also. That's my job, and I feel really dedicated to it. And it's just perfect for me because I'm a chatterbox. But I just want to say thank you for your comments. And Richard, Peter just put up a comment, and I can't remember what it was, but Peter, you had something on there that I said yes to. So it's about the second or third thing. I hope that we get that brought up. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, listen. I stand strong when I said because of the exclusive representative clause and people cannot go out and find their own union, that they should be allowed to vote on leadership and on contracts, regardless if they pay money or not, because you're controlling their work, your wages and working conditions. And the person that brings you the contract to vote on is leadership. So you just can't say, well, you can only vote on the contract. And you say, why am I voting this contract now? What kind of leader did this? You should be able to vote on the leader as well as the contract. I stand strong on that as part of my 10-point platform because of the exclusive representative clause. And I'm telling you this, listen, I may not know everything, and I may have made some bad decisions in my life. When that Janus decision came down and they said, oh, the unions will be in trouble, the public sector unions. I said, no, they won't. They'll be fine. They won't have all that extra money, but they'll have enough money to still keep going. They'll be in trouble when they no longer, public sector unions no longer have the exclusive representative bargaining power where they control your wages and working conditions. So that if you want to go to another union and join another union and have someone bargain for your wages, when you have that freedom to do that, that's when you're going to find out how competitive things can be. This is down the road, but it's coming. It will come. That's a promise. All right. So I want to talk about the voting. So here, I'll let Darren come back in for a few minutes, and then I'm going to talk about this voting, and then we'll try to wrap things up tonight. So go ahead, Darren.
No, President Brown, actually, one of the things I forgot to cover earlier, and I just got reminded, and especially when it has to do with our quote-unquote essential worker pay coming up. As far as from what I've read and everything I've seen, and I'm hoping that there's some board members that are listening and they can follow up on this item. A couple weeks ago, SEIU 1000, I think Brian, he's the whatever PR guy that doesn't know how to write a press release even if his life depended on it.
Okay.
Put out, who the people were that were part of the negotiations for the essential worker pay. And I guess they were thinking that a lot of people weren't paying attention to the Tia Orr interview that Mr. Hall conducted in regards to essential worker pay and some other stuff. So actually, I would really encourage a lot of people to go and try and find that interview with Tia Orr on the SEIU Facebook page. But I just find it funny that, they made it a point to make sure that an illegally appointed person, and Bill Hall, was present at the bargaining table. And it's not the published responsibility of this alleged illegal board-appointed position. So I would really encourage some of the DLC presidents to ask that question. If in media we're going to put out that somebody was president at the table.
So Darren, you'd have to go through your DLC president and find out the bylaws and policy clause changes that they made on March 5th, that they confirmed, that they ratified with a straight yes or no vote, that they did not have any debate on. She'd have to show you that transcript.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you'll see, because they were trying to transfer every power of the president, they were trying to transfer to that quote illegally created chair.
Gotcha.
In fact, you know what? In fact, that's probably going to come up again next weekend.
I hope it does.
Yeah, because you're going to see that there's a power struggle between Billy Hall, David Jimenez, Annika Walls, and a few other people on the board. Don't leave them out, because everybody wants to be in this chair position, because they don't have the courage of their convictions to run for president. Because remember, all these people were afraid to go up against Yvonne Walker. I wasn't afraid of her. I never have been. They were all afraid to run up against her in 2015, 2018, and then they thought, well, because she had made that promise to Miguel Cordova that she wasn't going to run again in 21, and that she was going to let him run, and then she reneged on her promise.
Would you also venture to say that there's some type of internal struggle, so to speak, or internal discord, even with, I don't know, some of the management of SCIU 1000? You know, like Leslie and Ryan and Pam Easy, about who they're going to pick, you know, who they're going to pick, which sides to sit on. And I know that's maybe a little bit of inside baseball here and there, but...
No, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. No, listen. Tonight has been a very interesting night. Jerry Lee, before you said about inside stuff, and that if you're a non-member, you shouldn't have inside stuff. That's not going to grow an organization. It's just not. Now, you just asked, is there internal strife with the staff? Let me put it to you like this. There's got to be internal strife. Because you don't know who's running the... Before they tried to, suspend me, you know who was the president. And when I said stuff, I didn't, quote, bend my words. In fact, if I'd have bent my words, maybe I could have got along better with some of these people. But they were coming to remove me anyway. So the staff knew who was running the show. Because by the policy file, the president runs the day-to-day operations. Because of all this hooking and crooking. Because remember, Irene didn't want to suspend me. David and Annika had to talk to somebody else to convince her to suspend me. Now remember what I said. There was a plot. I hope everybody on Facebook is hearing me on this. There was a plot to remove me from office through the HR1 process before I even got sworn in. Now here's the problem. David was going to take over, and then just let Annika take over. But now David doesn't want to do that. He wants to be the president. But Annika wants to be the president. But Billy wants to be the president. And a few other people on the board want to be president. Let me ask y'all something. And I keep telling y'all this. You say, well, Richard, can you talk a little softer sometimes? Can you play in the sandbox? Do you trust those individuals fighting for your money? Or would you rather send me up there to that Capitol to fight for your money? With my bad behavior that allegedly I have. Who do you want fighting for your money? Them or me? So when people say, well, Richard, it's not about you. Yes, it is. Because it's about me, because I'm about to represent employees. Trying to get everybody paid money. Because if I can get someone paid money who's a non-member, now when I ask them to be a member, they say, well, I need to be a member. Because I just got you paid. Can you help us out? Can you do your part? Then they'll say, okay, Rich, you're right. Those people who are now members, who didn't have to get vaccinated, they want to become members because of me. Did you see Annika and the rest of these so-called leaders backing me up on that pandemic about not getting vaccinated? You're making people have their own freedom to decide if they want to be vaccinated or not. Did they come back me up? Hell no. Did they come and stick their chests out to fight for Lansing County? A little bit. Just to save face. Annika did that to save face. You didn't see Billy Hall or none of these other individuals saying anything. They don't care about those prisons closing. They don't care about the prisons closing. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. The only thing they're concerned about is how they're going to look and all the perks they're going to get off your money. That's what they care about. I don't care how many emails they send. They don't care about you. If they did, they would have ran for president. If they did, they would have had a 10-point platform that they religiously go back to, but they don't have anything. I have mine. They don't have anything, and they never have, and they never will. I still love them because you know what? You're American citizens, and you must love thy neighbor as thyself. I don't care about certain people in America, but I still love them anyway. I still respect them anyway. That's the right thing to do, even though I know they don't care about me. I don't mean to go off on a tangent. I'm sorry. All right, let's go back. I see another hand raised. Let's go back to Jerry Lee. Go ahead, Jerry Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. I want to clarify perhaps my choice of words about insider information.
Okay.
I can clarify. What I'm trying to say is that there's going to be stuff discussed at the board of directors meeting, things voted on, things that that are not confidential related will come up, and it is the job of the steward at that point to help share those pieces of information, and even some of the committee reports can pass forward, and it's really quite exciting to hear the things that they talk about. I also want to mention that the comment that I saw from Peter Ussery that I liked. I went back and looked at it.
Okay.
I like the idea that one of the benefits for a dues-paying person could no furloughs. I like that a lot. And it's just an idea in terms of what you vote on or not. It might not prove to be appropriate or doable, but for the moment that I read it, I liked it. And
well, listen to this, Jerry. You don't have to hang up. Hold on. I'm crazy about Peter Ussery. If you say that if you're a dues-paying member, you can't be furloughed, but if you're a non-member, you can be furloughed, that creates separation. You don't want to ever separate us in the union. We already have job classifications that they got us separated, and they got us separated by bargaining unit. And then you wonder why some job classifications get higher pay increases than other job classifications, and that causes dissension. So anything that causes dissension, I'm against.
Sure.
So, yeah.
At the moment, it was something that I thought it was creative. Maybe on somebody's wish list, certainly on mine now that I've read it. But
well,
doesn't mean that all ideas are good ideas, or even that good ideas are automatically something that we're going to do. Sometimes they're just not appropriate, even if it was a good idea.
Well, listen to this, Jerry. Listen to this. And Peter would agree with me on this. A lot of people in our union have great ideas. I'm not the only one that has great ideas. We can't even respect the voice of the voters. So all those great ideas don't mean anything if you can't even do the basic 1 + 1 is 2. An election was held, I won the election. They can't even get that part right.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like we're trying to go off into calculus or differentials, and we can't even get out of first grade math. I mean, it's... Listen to this. We tell people in America, hold on, stay with me, because now I can go into my voting. And then if Yolanda wants to chip in, I'll let her chip in, I'll let Darren chip in. We'll open this whole Zoom up to everybody can just chip in. And I'll try to shut up when people chip in. Voting in this country is supposed to be so sacred. Forget about the fact that only white men who were property owners or taxpayers back in the day were the first ones. Block all that out. Don't think about that. Don't think about the enslaved Africans and all the horrendous treatment that they went through, the most special type of treatment of slavery that you've ever seen. Because you had slaves throughout all the history of Earth, but you never seen a slave having their name changed and having their language taken from them. You never saw that. Forget about the fact that women had to get voting, the 19th Amendment, I think in 1920, if I'm correct. Block all that out. We as Americans say that voting is sacred and that we are a democracy. Democrats and Republicans say this. But look how we're acting here in Local 1000. Look at our hypocrisy. And these people who are acting like this are not part of the Republican Party. 90% of them are not. Some are. 90% of these people are Democrats. But they refuse to recognize the voice of the voters. So they made these meritless allegations against me so they can try to, take it to the board. And then the board will try to, quote, kick me out of the union. And therefore, now Annika and David and Billy can argue over who's going to run the union. Even though they don't have the courage of their own convictions to run for president. They never have. And so when you talk about these great ideas and stuff, you and Peter and Darren and everyone else, I'm like, can we get back to the basic fact that a person won the election and the status quo said, we got to get his ass up out of here because he's going to wreak havoc on the status quo, even though the members said that's what they wanted. And so then I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just agreeing with them.
Yeah. And then they say, well, Richard, you got lucky. Who cares if I got lucky? I told you God put me here. They said, well, we don't want to talk about God. Okay, fair enough. They said, well, you got lucky. And? I mean, do you tell the person who wins the lottery, oh, well, you just got lucky? No, you say, well, I wish I had been you. No one wanted to go up against Yvonne Walker because they said she rigs the election. You can't beat her. And I told people years ago, you can beat anybody in an election, but you're going to have to work for it. And no one's going to give you anything in this country. And so I had to push, and I had to get in the sandbox. And so she lost. And they said, well, if the other people, they said, Richard, you split the vote. That's an absolute lie. Because I am the only opposition she had. Annika and David Jimenez and Kevin Menninger and Sophia Perkins and all these people, they were no different than she is. They weren't the opposition. They wanted her power. I was her only opposition. It takes one to know one. What does that mean? It took another black person to defeat the current black person that was in office. And I knew I could say things that white people could not say. Because, no offense, but a majority of white people in California, they carry themselves with professionalism and dignity, and they're not going to stoop to certain levels of play. They're not going to act racist out openly. They're just not going to do that.
Difficult times.
Well, yes. And so even when you have said, Richard, don't make it about race, make it about the money, I've always told you and I've told a lot of other people, it's hard to separate these two. Because when those cops were at my house on May 25th at 5 o'clock in the morning, I could have lost my life. Jerry, you couldn't have saved me. Ron Rawson couldn't have saved me. God saved me out of that, and the cops didn't stereotype me. It wasn't your life on the line. It was my life on that line. I could have been that Trayvon Martin. I could have been Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Philando Castile. I could have been one of those African Americans that came up short. That could have been me on May 25th. But you guys weren't there. And so when I say it's a mixture of both, I don't want to have to say that, but it's the truth. When they put up those racist cartoon characters about me, caricatures about me on Facebook. Remember Jonah Paul? He put that thing up and I had a gun in my hand, the threatening black man. Remember that? Well, I got a copy of that, Jonah Paul, the current DLC president of 785. But that's who you are, Jonah Paul, and you were laughing about it. You don't care about my life as a black man. And so, unfortunately, I got to call people out. I got to call white people out for their prejudice and racist ways at times. I got to call out other black people who will yell at white people about racism and prejudice, but when it comes to Local 1000, they want to play it cool. No, you can't play it cool. Either be about it or don't be about it. Be proud to be black 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or don't be at all. And that's what the rappers are talking about. That's what the men and the women of the blues and the gospel and rhythm and blues, when you have to be black 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you don't have no way out. And then when you get to the top, don't sell out. I am not a sellout. Never have been, never will be. And so, because of my outspokenness for being a proud black man, and then I won't take the money, and I'm supporting Democrats and Republicans, I'm supporting the whole union as a whole, and this is why I want everybody to be able to vote in this union, whether they pay money or not. Because remember, and you didn't say this, Jerry Lee, and neither did Yolanda, but let's be real with ourselves. Some people cannot financially afford to pay the dues to this union. And then when people got on me about AB 257, I know what I'm talking about. But because my life as a black man doesn't have the same value as a white man, I don't get that type of respect. Listen to this. You don't have to even look at me. Look at the great President Barack Obama. Okay? Now that's as good as it gets. And look how they did him. So you know I don't have nothing coming. But they wanted me to act a certain way, and they wanted me to take a salary stipend, and they wanted me to support Gavin Newsom, and they wanted me to just get along and play along to get along. But that's not what I was elected to do. Now, unfortunately, politicians, they tell you one thing, and then once they get elected, they do something else. And this is why when I said I'm Richard DeReal, people were laughing like, oh, what kind of statement is that, Richard DeReal? Because it's the truth. I am the realest person you'll ever have as a Local 1000 president. You'll never see a person like me ever again. And this is why they're trying to run me out so they can say, we can never have a person like Richard ever in office. Because what happens is, I'm speaking truth to the injustice, but I'm not doing it for black people. I'm doing it for everybody equally. If I was just speaking for black people and fighting racism, I wouldn't have a problem. The Democrats would support me because they think they can control me. The Republicans would say, oh, you're not like Candace Owens. You're not like Ben Carson. But because I'm fighting for everyone equally, that's a problem in this country. Look at this. Because I want everyone to be able to vote. And Jerry Lee, you were right about letting more people vote in this union. You can't have Governor Newsom be in charge of the most powerful state in the nation and have the state employees of the largest public sector union go on strike. You can't have that. And you'll do anything and everything to run me out of town. I get it. I get it. But here's the bad part. Gavin Newsom, you can give us a 30% pay increase. Remember we did the PowerPoint slide and with the 20% pay increase across the board for everyone? I think it was going to cost, I think the number was $7 billion. $7 billion out of $100 billion? Just chump change.
Agreed.
And when I was saying this years ago, I didn't know that the budget would be in that type of surplus.
Well, they took all of our furlough money and was just seed money to grow that budget. I don't know what he spent it on, but obviously he cried wolf. And I have a nickname for him. It's just Ghastly Gavin. I think some of the things he does is despicable, and I think I'm not alone out there thinking that.
Well, here's what I would say about Gavin Newsom. You know, Governor Newsom, whether someone calls you ghastly, someone calls you selfish, gruesome.
Somebody just put it up.
Yeah. I would say this, and then I'm going to go about that railway union strike here in a moment. You don't have to do this, Gavin. See, here's the thing. People yell at Gavin. People yell at the former President Donald Trump. These are two white men, one from the Democratic side, one from the Republican side. Both born on third base. Both have a college education. And they're the epitome of the white man who's successful in America. No, I'm serious. But yet they have some strong similarities. Egotistical? Yes. Selfish? Absolutely. And both sides point the finger at the other side. And so I hate when people demonize the Republicans. I hate when people demonize the Democrats. Because they're both, at the end of the day, are they complaining about a 21% pay increase? No. Their money's fine. Their health care is paid for life.
Yep.
All right, so here, I'll come back to you. Okay, so let's go to Peter real quick. Go ahead, Peter.
I just got a really quick statement. I was browsing on the SCIU local website, and they have a statement in there that just drove me crazy enough that I'd actually call in. It says, bargaining team proposes a more realistic and respectful essential work pay package. So, is their motivation, is their justification to get rid of you? Is because you're not respectful? Yes, sir, may I have another? Oh, thank you, sir. We'll take that money. Are they truly concerned about, I would rather have you be perceived not as angry, but as very assertive and get us more money than just be respectful and take whatever they give us.
Remember what hey, Peter, hold on.
Yeah.
Before you hang up. Remember what I've always said. I'm the only person that tells you the state of California is not your boss. These other so-called leaders will not say that because they tell you the state is your boss. So yes, they want to be respectful to the boss and ask the boss for the essential worker premium pay. Listen how I said that. They're asking. They're not negotiating anything. They're asking, and whatever the boss decides is what we'll get. Because they've been conditioned to be a slave. Slaves entertaining in unity. That's what SEIU stands for. And that's a shame that they're doing that. Remember, I said they can take my idea and run with it, give us our 2 days of payback, plus interest, and then that $6,000 they were asking for, let that be the tip money. Let that be the tip money for doing a great job. But see, they have no intention on ever doing anything for you, or me, or anyone else, whether you pay money or not. They're not going to get you no quality contract. They're going to take whatever the state offers them. In fact, when they went to Norway, whatever ideas come back from Norway on that prison system was already agreed upon by Governor Newsom and CDCR before they sent Local 1000 over there. Remember, I told you this. But they think we're stupid. We have some smart people. But here's our problem. And this is where it falls back on me. I haven't been able to inspire. That falls on me. Every day I have to live with the fact that I can't inspire more people in this union to become active, to become dues-paying members, and to take our union back from this coup that they're doing. So it appears that right now they're more successful trying to run me out of here because I haven't been able to inspire people to say, you must respect the voice of the voters. So that falls on me. And so when I'm talking about politics and racism and all that, don't let these people tell you, oh, Richard's playing the victim. No, that's a racist stereotype. Because some black people, when they talk like me, they do try to play the victim. I'm not playing the victim. What I'm simply telling you is I got to inspire more people. I've asked everyone to reach out to their coworkers. I've asked everyone, reach out to your coworkers. You got to tell them what's going on. Everyone has my phone number. I should be getting calls every day from people I never spoke to before. All right. So let's not lose hope. But that's what they're saying. Because they got me for being portrayed, Peter, as being, quote, angry and confrontational, whatever. That's what a union president is. A union president is very passionate. That's why Jimmy Hoffa got things done. Now, he lost his life. And usually, your most passionate leaders in America have lost their life. That's unfortunate. All right, so let's go back to. Oh, wait, was you done, Peter?
Lost his internet.
Thank you. I came back. Thank you, Richard.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to Derek. Go ahead, Derek.
Peter, thank you for that, because it just kind of like made me think a lot. I totally forgot to bring that up earlier. That I saw that as well, Mr. President, and I got to say, that is the most disgusting language I think I've seen from this quote-unquote leadership. Not only are they being inconsiderate, but they're not being upfront with everyone. I hope everyone does realize, just like that $1,500 they took last time when they sold out because they didn't want to strike, that one-time tax payment, that's going to throw us all in a different tax bracket if this passes. And they're not going to give a damn when you have to move up in a different tax bracket, okay? That's number one. Secondly, excuse me, I got to get this off my chest. This is really bothering me. These people are so inconsiderate, and they have the audacity to tell people, quote, to suck a dick. But let me tell you something right now. The only thing that, quote, is sucking dick right now, metaphorically speaking, because I don't want anyone to come at me in any kind of way, is this lack of leadership we have right now, and their idiotic, dumbfounded ideas that they can't negotiate a damn deal that's going to cut us some slack. That's the only thing that's, quote, sucking dick, metaphorically speaking. I'm done.
Okay. Now look, everyone comes on my cause and they speak their mind. And so he said some really strong things, Derek. You should be able to say some strong things in this country. He wasn't trying to be homophobic. That was not his intention. He said metaphorically, if I'm saying that word correctly, metaphorically. So I should not get any calls saying that I'm being anti-gay. But see, I'm glad he brought that up about the suck the dick part. Because they tried to say months ago that I was being anti-gay. And they love to say that black men are anti-gay. And some black men are anti-gay. I'm not one. I got 819 on September 14th, 2022. And when I put up that comment about I didn't suck dick, I wasn't criticizing those who do suck dick. And I stand behind that. But see, they'll say anything they can to get you to go against me. I've been asking people, you got to reach out to your coworkers. You got to reach out to your coworkers. Anybody who wants that agenda, just text me, 408-207-2339, and I'll get you the agenda sent. Someone should be able to put that agenda up on Facebook. There's a certain way you can do it on how to put a PDF up. Because when I try to put up PDFs, I have a hard time doing it. All right, so go ahead, Yolanda Williams. And then we'll end with Yolanda.
Okay, I want to go back to the area that you spoke about, the guy with the cartoon character.
Oh, Jonah Paul.
This is this type of stuff we need to have at least in a leadership position. Now that kind of stuff right there should be in the contract that says you off the board. And it should be, you saying certain things, foul language, or not foul language, but homophobic language, or saying something to, a member, that kind of stuff should get you off the board. And that's what needs to be changed in our contract. That kind of stuff. Then we won't have certain people saying certain things. And that's what I'm thinking. So, that was my comment, because I just feel that was
you know what?
Out of line. And,
right.
You have Teresa Taylor and all, still up there making decisions after she said what she said, and knocking me down as far as my HR1, not letting me have a hearing in regards to it, saying that, we'll just give her a letter and tell her don't do that. That's not nice.
So all right, so we're going to finish here at 8:21 tonight, Yolanda. And here's what I'm going to say to wrap things up.
You just cut me off.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
I had to say that
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm good. Go ahead then. Go ahead.
No. So you said that part. What else did you want to say?
You made me lose my thought because I said that. Go ahead.
Well, no, wait. Well, hold on. Don't hang up. Wait a minute. So Yolanda, the Jonah Paul, if I'm correct, he is a DLC 785 president now. If you go to a Local 1000 website and look up DLC 785, you'll see him being reflected as being the DLC president. All right, that should be accurate. He did. I have the picture where he was laughing about that racist theme about me. And then, maybe he's tried to walk it back. No, he meant what he meant what he said. Now, let's talk quickly about Teresa Taylor. When I talk about the racism in the union, I never brought that up tonight. What she said was racist.
I wanted to bring it up.
No.
I never got my hearing.
So, what she said about me was racist, homophobic, and sexist. Because I've told people this repeatedly. What if I was gay and I did suck dick? Would she apologize to me then? Did she just assume that I'm heterosexual? I am heterosexual. But what if I wasn't though? See, what she did was she illustrated her white privilege as a white woman. That's what she did. And she knows that the value of my life as a black man doesn't matter. Now listen to this. If I remember correctly, when she said that, the president of the board of CalPERS at the time was, I think, Henry Jones, a black man. She didn't care. He didn't want to touch it. So when I tell Yolanda, there's black folks in the community that once they get to a level of success, they forget who they are, that's exactly what I mean. So when white people...
They come Sambo.
Well, I'm not, look, I'm not going to call them that, but here's what I will say. Well, I know you can, and you will. Here's what I will say. When I go after white people for being racist and prejudiced, I go after them. But when I go after my own, I go after them too. I go after everyone equally. And we have black people in positions of power who don't want to help me because it's not going to make them look politically correct. But yet you still talking about Black Lives Matter. You still saying you fighting for the struggle for black folks to be treated fairly in the workplace and housing, your interactions with the police. But yet you don't want to talk to me though. Okay, I understand you. I always have. And I always ask God, before I get off this call, I always ask God, I said, God, if you ever put me in a position of power and influence, do not let me sell out. Do not let me sell out. And I haven't sold out. I never sold out the black community. Even though I said we shouldn't be involved in Black Lives Matter because it had nothing to do with our union. I never sold out our union to these politicians. I stayed true to my 10-point platform. And some people agree on the platform on some of my points. Other points, they don't agree. But in America, you should be able to disagree with somebody and still work with them. Our union does not do that. And so the answer to the test, this $3 million test, but all the money they've been spending in politics since they tried to suspend me, the real answer to the test is respect. But it's hard to get people to respect the voice of the membership for voting when they don't respect themselves. So whoever stayed on this call to the very end, you're going to hear my most powerful statement tonight. There are some Local 1000 leaders who don't respect themselves. They don't love themselves. And so they try to create chaos and confusion for others. That's what they do. And it's a shame. It's really a shame. But we'll keep hope alive. We'll keep going forward. We'll stay positive. We won't give up. I want to thank everyone tonight for calling in. It's been an interesting night. I started at 5:41 p.m. We've been going for a while. I want to thank everyone for their opinions, their thoughts, their concerns on Facebook and on Zoom. We'll do this again. Oh, and by the way, This Friday night, 5:30, I'm going to do a live Facebook. I think somebody wants to interview me. And you're going to hear the same passion, the same integrity. I don't change up. I'm consistent in who I am. Thank you so much. Tonight is September 14th, 2022. I am Richard Lewis Brown, Richard the Real. Stay strong, everyone. Good night.